Good morning, all. So, I have a little story for you this morning. For all of those who say, all my students who complain mostly, when are we going to use this math? We're never going to use algebra again for the rest of our lives. This is pointless. There's no reason to use it. It's just awful. Why do you make us learn this stuff? Okay, for all of you, this is an opportunity to learn yet again why you need to know math. So last night I set aside a box of beignet mix on the counter because I intended to make beignets for my family this morning. Because I thought, those little clouds of joy would just be fabulous. That and a little, whole plate of beignets and a cup of coffee, and I could just taste it. It was great. So I decided to do that. So I got up this morning and I opened the box, and there was more than one recipe. There's more than one batch in a box, right? It comes as a mix, so you can make more than one. And the mix or the recipe is 2 cups of mix plus 7 ounces of water. Now I don't know who they think has ounce measuring, but I just happen to. Which, by the way, there's 8 ounces in a cup. So I just happen to have one of those nice little cups that has the ounces on the side, those little glass measuring cups. So I had 2 cups of water, or 2 cups of mix and 7 ounces of water, mixed it up, made a batch. And I decided that since it was so messy, such a messy job, I would just go ahead and make the whole box. So I figured, they probably put 2 or 3 batches in a box, right? Because there's more mix. So I measured it out, and I had another 2 cups that I mixed with another 7 ounces of water, and made another batch. Rolled it out. My husband, he got up and he helped with the whole assembly line process of putting it in the grease and then putting the powdered sugar on it when they came out, while I rolled and cut and put them on a plate and gave them to him to fry. So we were doing that, and then we get to the bottom of the box, and one would think that Café du Monde, being the establishment that they are, would give you enough to make an even number of batches. I don't care if it's 2 cups and 2 cups, or 2 batches or 3 batches or 4 batches. I don't, that's not my decision to make. Where I'm frustrated with Café du Monde is that they only gave me another cup and a half, which is not another batch. So while I'm trying to enjoy my morning, they do force me to do math. And if you didn't know how to do it, then it would totally ruin your morning. But being the math person that I am, I was actually kind of excited that, I get to do a proportion statement. I know I'm weird. It's okay. I fully admit that. It's fine. So I set up my proportion like this. I said 2 cups is what it takes of mix, and it takes 7 ounces of water. But I only have a cup and a half of mix. How much water is that going to be? So I cross-multiplied, and I found that I had 10.5, right? 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 0.5 is 3.5. 7 plus 3.5 is 10.5. So I divided both sides by 2, and I found out that I needed 5.25 ounces. So I mixed that cup and a half of mix that was left and 5 ounces of water just to make sure, because 1/4 ounce is not a lot, and you don't want to make your mix too watery because then you have to add more flour and it affects the flavor. So I just did 5 ounces of water, and it wasn't quite enough. So I don't have something that will measure 1/4 ounce. So I just put a couple teaspoons in there, which is probably close. And it worked. It was great. So I rolled those out. We made those, and I was able to make the whole box, clean up my mess, and not have to worry about making that mess again until the next time I buy a box, right? And we have plenty of beignets. I think I'll have some for lunch too. But my point is, you will use math again. And maybe one day when you have your own little box of Café du Monde beignet mix, you'll remember this story and remember that you need another 5.25 ounces of water with that last little batch. Now, I don't know why they do 1.5 cups instead of another whole 2 cups in their mix. I think maybe it's to force you to go buy another box of mix. And I think it's because they don't believe that you can do the math. So, prove them wrong, learn the math, do a good job, and enjoy beignets, aka little clouds of joy. And that's all I got for you this morning. Love y'all. Stay warm.